Good morning and welcome to Spotlight TV. I am your host, Emily Zubi, and I will tell you that today we have someone who is near and dear to my heart. Not only is she an amazing woman, a mother, daughter, her story is fascinating. Today we have with us Tila Falic Levi, and I'm so happy to have you. I haven't seen you in a while. We're going to talk about your experience, what you've done with being as an educational advocate, and also your important role and in the political world. You are nonstop. You're traveling all the time, and you have the most gorgeous kids on top of that I got to know. So welcome to Spotlight TV.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for that beautiful intro. Sometimes I'm not sure who you're talking about, but thank you for all that. I'm really excited to be here. This has really been such a fun project to be a part of.
Let's talk about the school first, because I want to know more. And when you were, everyone who's in the Book of Leaders was nominated and selected. So obviously, a very near and dear person to us as well, Gloria Garces, was the one who told me all about you and said, wait till you meet her and what you had done. So let's talk a little bit about the school, because from my understanding, it's an incredible endeavor and something that you're very passionate about.
That's true. So I want to first start out by saying that I am not an educator, or maybe I was not an educator. Maybe now I could be considered. And the reason why I got involved in starting a school is because I realized as a mother of 6 children how very different each child is and how the needs of each child are so different. Everybody learns differently. Everybody has different talents. Everybody struggles with different things. And through that process of raising my own children, I met an incredible educator. His name is Rabbi Aaron Assaroff. He's been in education for 30 years. And everything that he told me about my kids and the advice that he would give me, being their principal, their rabbi, their friend, worked. And so he knew how to deal with issues with the kids that I was not in contact or in connection with. As a mother, we all love our children. We all think they're great. We all struggle when they're teenagers, but he really gave me the tools to figure things out with my kids. So when he approached me and said, we're going to start a school, you're going to be the president and I'm going to be the head of school, I was like, are you sure? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And he said, yes. And you know what? He was right, because he had an idea that was such a breakthrough in education. I had never heard anything like it. I pitched it to my husband. He thought we were crazy. My parents, one was on board. The other one said, good luck. But all of a sudden, it turned out to be something real that's really, really serving so many children in such a wonderful way. And it's the project that I'm most proud of, most passionate about, because I see how we're changing the lives of children every day, which essentially is changing the future.
I mean, you have just hit a nerve, because as a mother, I have a 29-year-old, and the only thing I will tell you that I felt like I didn't do the best, there are a few things, but is picking the right school, because, my son is gifted. It was gifted off the charts. And one day, I have him, and, he went to Beth Shalom, and then he went to Cushman. And, when he was at Cushman, they said, there's a couple learning things. And they started testing him without my knowledge. And next thing you know, I take him to Baker and Feist, and, I'm really worried. And, when I got him, looked at, they said to me, he's brilliant, off the charts. And I said, well, what was the thing that got the teachers looking that way? They said, well, they asked him, what's your favorite part of school? And he said, when it snows outside. And I said, well, Michael, you live in Florida. It doesn't snow outside. He goes, in my mind, it does. And he goes, he's pretty bored.
That's the point. It doesn't snow outside. So he didn't like school because there was nothing to like.
He was bored, and we made the change. And what I realized, and he's my only child, so I couldn't imagine managing 6. But I remember just thinking to myself, I had one friend who was really good. She said all children learn differently, and what's good for one is not necessarily good for the other. And she had 3 girls, and they each went to separate school. And she said, my job is to get them the best education and to pick up on the cues, right, of how they they learn.
I want to make you feel better, and I don't think you did anything wrong because you said you didn't pick the right school. I don't think that the right school exists because there's good and bad everywhere, and all schools are essentially the same. So that's exactly what we wanted to do. We wanted to break that mold. And the reason is that schools were created when people were working in assembly lines 100 years ago. So you were meant to stand up together, sit down together. There was a bell. Everybody would go to the same place. The teacher stands in the front of the room, dictates to the kids what they're supposed to spit back. And then there's a test and they spit back the information. Did they learn anything? I don't know. Some did, some didn't. Some passed, some failed. But if the kids that failed, I don't think it was them. It's the teacher that failed because she wasn't able to get her, whatever it is that she, or he weren't able to get across whatever it is that they were trying to teach. And so if you have a kid that is more audio, more visual, more book academic, more of a experiential learner, what are we doing as schools to cater to all those needs? And the answer is very little. Now people are starting to change. But what happened in our minds, Rabbi Asaraf and I brought on Jenny Ohana, who is a very talented principal English teacher, has been also in education for 30 years. And we came together and structured a team, first of all, of educators that love children. I know that sounds weird, but I feel like there's teachers that can't stand children.
Right.
And so we send our kids to school for 8 hours a day or more,
Right.
with people that don't care about them, that just want to get through the day, that are miserable themselves. Therefore, they make our children miserable. And so when we say happy teachers equal happy students in our school,
Right.
it sounds like what a stupid thing to say. But no, why are teachers so miserable? And why are they ruining our children's lives in many different settings? So what we tried to put together was a system that is structured in a very unstructured way, and a system that uses our city as our campus because our kids are so sophisticated these days.
Right.
Our school is a high school, and there's kids in high school are young adults. Their access to information is endless.
Right.
Everybody has a phone. So I would say that unless the teacher is really teaching them how to live in the real world, they can get all that information that they want to spit back on their phones. So we need to empower our teachers, and we need to empower our students to be independent thinkers, to be free thinkers, and how to use the city and the world as their campus. And that's the structure of our school. And if you see, the workplace is no longer an assembly line. The workplace is so dynamic. People work in so many different spaces. Some people are sitting at Starbucks and they're making millions of dollars a day. Right. Some people are sitting at home wearing a suit on top and shorts on the bottom after COVID, right? And no shoes. Right. And some people are sitting in a corporate headquarters at the rooftop of some unbelievable building in New York City. And all of them are correct. So why aren't we changing the education system to pivot, that's a big word,
right,
and accommodate these kids to learn how to be one of those people in society? And that's what our school is aiming to do. And in our school, every single student's schedule is different. What does that mean? They all have to take math, English, science, and social studies. That's mandated by the state. We are recognized and certified, and we get the funding from the state. So that means that we're on board. We're partnered with the state of Florida, Department of Education. But why can't we be creative about everything that they're learning? We live in Florida. One example. Mm-hmm. If a student needs to take a science, first of all, the state doesn't tell you which science. But let's say there's a student that wants to take marine biology. Why are we learning marine biology in 4 walls with a teacher dictating to us when we live in Florida? Marine biology should be learned near the ocean or in the ocean, right? So we have shuttles in the school that shuttle the kids to 16 or more different locations 3 days a week. Math, English, science, and social studies are covered in the classroom or outside of the classroom. But we have sailing in the ocean, marine biology in the ocean, fishing in the ocean.
It's brilliant.
That's just one example. We have art at an art museum. We have music at a recording studio. It's true, you can bring in teachers to teach everything. But if they're teaching it in a different setting, in a real life setting, how much more of an experience and how much more of a passion are you actually creating for that student? And if they don't like it, they'll know right away what they don't like, but they'll know what they like. And to be able to put kids in those situations, you're trusting them as young adults to be mature, to know how to behave in the real world, and to learn the real skills, not hypothetical skills in a classroom from a teacher that's miserable.
Wow. This is absolutely fascinating. I mean, I thank you for really educating me because, there's so much that I didn't realize that's going on with that. And I think that the whole traditional system of the school system, I mean, you bring up a lot of great points. I want to share with the audience your photos because, let me tell you, I have gotten so many comments. So the Book of Leaders, right? We're going to show you on screen. We're going to show you the Book of Leaders. We sold out for the second time at Books and Books. It's so exciting. And your feature is just mesmerizing. Your eyes. I remember your photo shoot. I was there and I actually got to I had some playtime with your daughter who taught me.
She was my wild child.
She's precious. But this photo here with you in the blue, absolutely amazing. I mean, just gorgeous photos. Your style, classic, elegant. You're so photogenic and your eyes are mesmerizing.
Thank you. I have my mother's eyes, so I was blessed, and a shout out to my mom.
A shout out to your mom. And then the photo with, now tell us your dog's name, and because he actually made the Book of Leaders.
Zuma. Zuma's an Old English sheepdog. He is 6 years old. He's my third sheepdog. He is my love, and nobody in this world loves me like Zuma. It used to be Simba. Then I had Panda, who were incredibly special to me, and now Zuma is a rock star.
You're the only one in the whole book that actually was able to have your pet sit through a photo, because some tried and did not. But you know what? I have to say this photo is just absolutely adorable. And, I've gotten so many comments about your feature, just your experience, the photos, the look. I mean, you look absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Stunning.
It was really fun.
And you know what? You are a happy person. Like what I see you consistently is, with 6 kids, you always look so calm and always look so like everything's just all in place. And, how do you do it?
My kids would say very different. I think that I'm calm because the little things that bother people don't bother me. Meaning my 4-year-old who drew on the wall, or someone else that wrote their name on a door, those things don't bother me because my house is not a museum. It's a home. It's a happy home. My kids are happy people, thank God. And my contribution to this world at the end of the day, and my legacy to this world, are my children. I worked really, really hard to have them. It was not an easy journey. So I don't take that blessing for granted. My focus in my life is my children. And thank God we have a very happy home. It is hectic. There's a lot of people living in my house. There's a lot of disagreements. There's a lot of, it's not quiet. It's definitely not quiet. We just had a Thanksgiving with my daughter's boyfriend, and it was the first time he was coming to our home.
Okay.
And I think he didn't know where to look. The dog wasn't even there. And he had a good time, because when you come into our home, and we welcome people all the time into our home, it's definitely lively and fun and loud. But thank God it's the sound of children and family, and the sound of happiness. And everyone has their struggles and everyone has hard times. My mother was very sick, and it was a dark time for our family. And if you ask anybody in our family, they say like it felt like everything was gray and quiet, and it was something that we were so not used to. And thank God now that she's healthy. Actually, one of your other leaders, Dr. Stephen Neimer from University of Miami, he saved my mother's life. And
he's amazing.
We adore him, and we're so grateful to him. We're thankful to God and all the people that prayed for her. But our home continues to be a happy home, and our family really focuses on welcoming people, meeting people, engaging with people, and doing what we can for our community.
Well, I still expect a Shabbat invite one of these days.
Every single Friday that we are in town, we have Shabbat as a family.
And I've seen your table of 30 or I don't
This
even
week,
know.
I think we're actually having 60 people for Shabbat.
Wow.
You're invited. You're invited this Friday and every other Friday after that. It's just hard to coordinate schedules. You're busy, we're busy. But the truth is that we love people, we love welcoming, we love hosting, we love getting to know people, and we love being involved. So that's a very big part of who we are, and hosting Shabbat is a highlight for our family.
So legacy, very important, because as we were doing your photo shoot, and found out some of the family history and the fact that in your family that there were Holocaust survivors, and the deep-rooted tradition, values, legacy, and really all that comes with that, and making sure that the family, always keeps those memories, valued and so forth. So when you think of legacy and you think of, especially now with your children, what are some of the ways that you keep all those values alive?
Legacy and values in the Jewish tradition, I think, is very intertwined with Jewish identity and tradition. And by keeping Shabbat and keeping the holidays, it's an integral part of our lives and our identity and who we are, because we're another link to another chain of grandparents and great-grandparents that had the same traditions. And we're very welcoming to everybody else around us, but we're very proud of who we are, and we cherish that and take it very seriously about having that Jewish identity. My grandmother, on my mother's side, her name is, we call her Babe, and that's a Yiddish name, endearing term for grandmother. Babe is 95 years old, and she's a Holocaust survivor. She was the youngest of 9 children, who all but one survived, and they were surviving in the forest with the partisans. My grandmother was a young girl of about 8 or 9 years old during the time of the Holocaust, and she doesn't like to talk about it, but once in a while, if you ask her questions, she'll answer them. So she tells us about how they were living in the forest, how they would eat grass, how they would drink whatever dew was falling from the trees. It's real tragedy, it's real pain, but real victory, because that little girl who was barely surviving in the forest has a granddaughter who now serves and was nominated, and I'm being sworn in on Monday by President Trump to the Holocaust Museum Board. So somebody wrote an article.
Congratulations.
Thank you. From the forest to the boardroom. And that, I think, is the history of the Jewish people. It's the history of my family. It's one that we don't take lightly. We know we have a responsibility to pass that forward. And so through education, through tradition, and also through recognition and gratitude to the wonderful country that we live in, I'm the first generation in my family that has the right to vote. And people take that for granted. My grandparents were immigrants in whatever country they were living in, and Jews were not allowed to vote in Russia and in Poland. My parents were then immigrants to South America, eventually to the United States, and they were residents for many, many years. They never went through the citizenship process. Now they did. Mm-hmm. But when I turned 18 and I went to vote, my entire family came with me, because I represented all of those generations behind me that couldn't vote. So I went to the ballot box with my grandmother, with my mother, with my father, and with my children to show my kids what their responsibility is. And we are very lucky to be living in a time that we have wonderful leadership in the United States and in Israel that has a bond that represents the deep-rooted love and connection of the Judeo-Christian and Western values. And that's what we work very hard to preserve. So whether you're Jewish or not, and if you love the United States, and if you love Israel, and if you love freedom and democracy, and if you celebrate everybody's identity for whoever they are and the way that they are, then we want to be a part of that. And we welcome that kind of friendship into our lives from across the world. So we have a home in Jerusalem. We have a home in Bell Harbor. We have a home in Puerto Rico. I say we because it's my entire family, and the 4 generations in our family hosts in this home. And if I could make a list.
I have family in Puerto Rico.
So you should come and bring them. If you make a list of the people that have come through our Shabbat tables or a Sunday barbecue in our home, it's very colorful, it's very dynamic, it's very interesting, and it's very exciting. And I'm very proud of that.
I love that. And I always say I have a Jewish soul. And I'm very good friends with Ariel Penzer Milgrom. And, she always says to me, you know what I love about you is that like, you always stand up for our people. And I mean,
I think it's standing up for each other, right?
It's standing up for each other. It's just neighborly love. Like you said, it's about, if, all we need in the world is more kindness and more love. And if we could just all be respect, just, we don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree but let's be respectful.
Disagreements actually are very interesting. I mean, obviously I love to be in a place where everybody agrees with me. Like Cheers, remember? I want to go where everybody knows my name.
Knows your name.
Yeah, that's comfortable. But to leave your comfort zone and have uncomfortable conversations, it's a learning experience. And it's very interesting as long as you can have those respectful conversations. And I think that that's a problem that we're living in right now, that people are so polarized. And just because we disagree doesn't mean we hate each other. Or just because we live a different life doesn't mean that we can't respect each other. And in our home, actually, I think that goes away because when people come over, they're like, oh my God, we thought you guys were like this, or we thought you guys were like that. And then when you sit at our table and everybody's breaking bread and eating challah or, just having a nice family conversation, even if it's political, everyone's welcome. And what's the problem? Let's just talk about it. Like, it's not a problem if we can listen to each other.
Absolutely. I mean, I could talk to you. Our time is going by way too quickly here. I have a question regarding the school. So what year did you, because the ages of your kids are between what and what? So youngest 4 and eldest?
My oldest is 22. She's at University of Miami. We're big Canes. It's all about the U. We're third generation Canes actually in our family. My youngest is 3 and 4. She just turned 4 and everything in between. I have 18, 15 twins that are 10. And the school is only a high school.
So
my kids go to other schools.
Right.
And I try very hard for them to be in schools where they're happy and that they're learning the values that are important to me. So at the end of the day, another motto at our school is the student matters most. And in many schools, it doesn't. Many schools, it's the board matters most. The teachers matter most. Right. The curriculum matters most. In our school, the students matter most. We want to know what they want. And by the time you're in high school, because of their level of sophistication today, they know what they like and they know what they don't like. Sometimes you have to do things that are uncomfortable, and they do. Right. But why not celebrate the places where they're good at or the places that they're interested in? And so not every school is perfect. I don't think we're perfect yet, but we're working on it. This is our 4th year. We have 180 students.
What's the name of this school?
It's called Jewish Culture High School.
Okay.
Because being Jewish is part of our everyday culture. And no matter where we are in the world, just like I'm very proud to be Jewish, as a proud Jew, we need to integrate and celebrate and be proud of our Jewish identity and our values. And that's what we teach these kids, to be leaders in the world, to be proud of who they are and to welcome other people into their lives and to have these experiences that make you stronger, more interesting, and better. And I do think that the kids at our school are different. I don't think they're better or worse. They've been exposed to things that other kids have not. After October 7th, which was the worst day in Jewish history since the Holocaust, there was a very big rally in Washington, D.C. And it was one of those rallies that you would see pictures of from like the 70s and the 80s outside of the White House in the National Mall. And we took our kids. We bought flights. We took them in the morning and we brought them home at night. That experience teaches them so much more than what they can learn in the classroom. It teaches them about history, it teaches them about freedom of speech, it teaches them to celebrate America, it teaches them to be proud Jews, it teaches them to fight for what they believe in and to stand tall and to be proud. I can't teach that in a classroom. And so these experiences that we are structured in an unstructured way and that we're flexible and that we can pivot and that we can bring our kids to have these experiences is something that schools are not used to doing and are not always ready to do. It's a risk. It's not comfortable. Not every parent agrees with it, but when parents come into our school, they know that they're signing up for something different. There may be times that it's uncomfortable and it's okay and we can talk about it, but the 180 students that are coming through our school are actually being changed for the better, whether it's through their sports experiences, whether it's through their cultural experiences, my son got to go to Princeton Model Congress, and it was the first year of their debate team, and he won second place in the entire Congress with every school of the United States.
That's
We're doing something right. The kids got into the colleges they wanted to. They're going to the programs that they are passionate about, and they're learning about who they are and what it is to be a healthy, proud member of society. And that is what we aim to do.
It is so important. And I mean, I just, again, can recall like the high school years being some of the most challenging times and the world has changed so much in terms of social media and the bullying and the this
it's
and
very
that.
Hard.
And I remember thinking like there was no, what's expected when you're pregnant, what to expect when you're expecting. I knew every month I would look and I'm like, okay. But, once they got to the teenage years, it was like, what?
Because everyone's experience is completely different.
What do you do?
What do you do? You survive and then you thrive. And because we have such talented educators and people who are passionate about what they do, every kid connects to a different person. There's always that one teacher or principal or guidance counselor that you remember, and we're hoping that it's going to be more than one.
So true. It's so true. My son would tell me, he really connected with the school nurse.
That's okay.
And I said, well, with these, and I remember at one point she goes, she's actually a good friend of mine now, and she's no longer in education, but she said, but a lot of times they weren't there really for sick.
They just needed a hug.
They needed a moment. It was an emotional thing that, that they were coming in and just, kind of wanted to feel cared for or whatever. And, but, he got, he would just tell her everything. He was like, I'm not feeling great today. This is what happened. And whatever.
I have a few kids that were very connected to the school nurse. And that's great. It happens to be that my oldest daughter was very connected to this particular English teacher, which is now the principal of our school, Mrs. Jenny Ohana, and this particular head of school, which is Rabbi Asaroff. And it happens to be that those two are the people that founded the school, that I work with on a regular basis, that we are on the same page. We parented our kids very similarly. Yeah. We're educating the future very similarly. We're all on the same page. And by the way, a lot of people don't agree with us, and that's also okay. I don't have space for everybody to come to our school. I wish that I did. But whoever believes and trusts in this system comes out very proud and very happy to have been a part of it.
Well, you are such an inspiration. We only have a few minutes left, but I will tell you, I learned a lot about what you do and how you've done it. And you've really inspired me because, education is a real hot topic. And, you also let go of some of that guilt that I felt because I was like, okay, I don't know, how great I did at matching up the school, but, it all makes complete sense.
You did your best, and we're all doing our best.
And the one thing that I will tell you is that, you're so right, because I can still remember the teachers that made an impact in my life. And I'm 65 years old. If I could remember that from, just the teachers that took the time to
And you
listen.
also remember the ones that hurt you.
Yeah.
And the ones that were against you and the ones that were getting you in trouble all the time. You remember those too.
You remember those too.
And you're scarred. You're scarred by them. I'm scarred by a lot of them.
You're absolutely right. My son, I remember him telling me, he said to me, this teacher, and we're nothing against teachers. It's just, obviously.
Teachers are doing their best. But for the people that don't like their job, whatever their job is,
right,
it's time to move on and find something else. Because I don't know that everybody realizes what an impact they're having on these kids for good and for bad.
And have them majority of the day. So, that's a good portion of the day.
They spend so much time in school and outside of our homes. There's only so much we could do at home. And it's true. A lot of the education starts from the home, but not all of it because of the hours in the day. There's quantity and there's quality, and they're both important. And another thing I just want to say.
We have just one little minute. So
okay, so
this is your time to get support for your school, give your 30-second commercial and, how someone can help and make a difference.
So Jewish Culture High School is a Jewish modern Orthodox institution. It's now in Fort Lauderdale. We have students from across the board that have come from public school all the way to super, super religious institutions. We are always looking for new ideas, new partners, and definitely support for our students. So you can look up jewishcultureschool.org, or you can look me up, and my Instagram, my Facebook, or even my email is online. And get ideas, connect to our school, connect to our educators, and connect to our students, because we're always looking for mentors and programs in our city and making our students brighter and more excited every single day.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us on Spotlight TV. A big shout out to our community newspapers and our partnership here. We'll see you next week on Spotlight.